All kosher, all paid for with receipts.
You're also welcome to stand if there's not enough seats.
So just to update you all, we were in the Q&A section, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Before this was
yeah.
here, we gave a little 5-minute blur.
Said that we were about to finish, but so you guys will stay a little longer and talk.
Okay, what I was saying before is we're here in an open forum to answer any questions that you guys want. Before you guys came, we each gave a little 5-minute explanation about what we did, whether it be in the National Service or in the Army, where we're from, and a little bit about ourselves and our families. So if anyone wants to know any of that, you're welcome to ask us, or any questions you might have. Anyone?
It's an open forum, so anyone has a question, it's free to ask.
I have a question.
Sure.
So this is a question for the whole panel. Do you guys support the occupation?
What do you mean by do we support the occupation? Can you be more specific?
Do you support the occupation? Can you be more specific? Do you support the occupation?
If you want to give a few more.
Occupation is a really big word.
I'm going to pretext by saying that I think we use a lot of the same terminology, but we mean different things by it. So it would be really helpful for us to better answer your questions if you give it a bit more context and just express what you mean by that. That's all.
I'll get into it. Fine. I'm gonna
Okay, I have a question.
I'm gonna, after I'll answer your question, no problem. I'm gonna give him respect to answer his question. We do not support the things that your side of the story likes to say is going on in the occupation, because those are not, and I'm generalizing a lot of the accusations coming out of the pro-Palestinian side, okay, here on campus. We don't support those things because those things are not what's really going on. There are some things that have some truth to them, but you guys have totally exaggerated them with things on your wall and such, okay? We don't support those things, which is why when people see us and they not you guys specifically, sometimes they're very confused when we say that we're pro-Palestine, and pro-Palestinian, I should say. We are pro having a state for the Palestinians as well, where they can live in dignity and have their own, government and have their own everything that they want and live in peace and whatnot. And we actually want to be friends, like we used to be many years ago, okay? But when people say, "Oh, are you pro-occupation?" Nobody wants, you think I'd like to be at a checkpoint to stop people for 30 seconds to ask them about their ID just because some kid or whatnot threw a Molotov cocktail down the block, and therefore we have to now stop the cars to try and find who the person was that threw a Molotov cocktail at people? It's a conflict that none of us want to be in.
Okay,
And,
I just have a question.
So
There are illegal settlements in the West Bank. How
You're
are not
interrupting.
questions?
You can raise your hand and we'll get to you. No problem with asking a question.
We won't leave
So
until we answer
that's-
every last question, but let's maintain some sort of order.
That's the general answer. Since you won't give me a specific to your question, I'll take it all.
Let's take the second question.
Please. Yes.
I have a question. It seems that some Palestine want to peace with you, just live with you in peace situation, and the others want to not want to peace, just fight against you. So, do you have some approach to change the second group to the first group?
Well,
I think, are you talking about, there's been, over the years, there's been many different attempts at agreements, whether it be through the UN, in different places as well. There's been many different peace attempts. Maybe if you look up in history, something my way for it, and the Israeli government has come to the table without pre-concession, without anything pre-agreed upon, and many of the times, the Palestinian side, the Palestinian leadership, hasn't been willing to come to the table to talk without pre-negotiations, such as releasing prisoners in prison for all sorts of reasons, without so many other things. So the second that you have a leadership that is willing to work and willing to really work for peace, and I think that's where you can start to begin. And it's good that there are people from both sides that are really, this is their goal. Yeah, that was my answer.
If I just add to that, when you look at, there's a difference between, there are two types, I would say, of Palestinians that are anti-peace. You have Hamas, which does not represent all Palestinians, which is a terrorist organization that does not want peace with Israel. They want to take over all of Israel. They're fanatics. Okay. Then you have some others within the West Bank and whatnot who are not necessarily Hamas, who in general have such feelings of hatred and sometimes, they justify maybe they have a relative or somebody that was lost, that was killed by the IDF at some point. Why, how? Sometimes it was justified, not justified, all part of the conflict, right? But it's important to understand that no matter what has happened, okay, whether, no matter what has happened, Palestinians and Israelis are there, and no one's going anywhere. We all know that. No one's going anywhere. We're both there, we're staying there. And when the only thing we can do is talk and try and figure it out and try and settle the situation. And you have plenty of times where the Israeli prime ministers have put forth requests of saying, come to the Knesset in Jerusalem, or I will come to Ramallah, to Mahmoud Abbas, or whoever it might be, and let's negotiate and let's talk. To just kind of specify what Rachel's talking about, but most recently, Mahmoud Abbas is saying, I will not come to the table until you remove settlements.
Excuse me, are we having a dialogue or is this a lecture?
He asked a question,
We're actually
and you
having a
can
Q&A,
wait your turn as well.
Because
If
there's
you
a
raise-
lot of questions.
if you
There's a
raise-
lot of
I will
questions.
stay
from
until
a lot of
every question
people.
is answered, but interrupting is
if
not
you don't-
something
And
that we want to have.
this is a form of like politically trying to get people to not be able to speak.
This is our floor.
This is exactly my point. That there's one side that wants to talk.
As soon as they bring up the
One side
word
that
peace,
wants
you guys get all upset.
Peace doesn't come when you guys are all
Peace doesn't come when you interrupt me.
If you want to flap through, then I don't see a point. If you want to answer your own questions,
I have a question.
No,
Why would you
no,
serve
no,
in
no,
an
no.
army?
You're gonna
Alright,
make
guys,
me
guys,
You're
guys,
here for
in the
propaganda
West
of a
Bank.
colonial state.
That's what I want to know.
You're propaganda of a South colonial
That's what I
state.
want to know.
You're killing our people. You fought to save police officers in the United States. You tried to kill. You tried to Palestine like you're in
She's asking
תגיד
him
לו,
a question.
יאללה.
Hold on.
תגיד
Hold on.
לו. תן לי הזדמנות לדבר.
She's yelling, she's not asking.
I will moderate, I will choose the question from now on.
Well, do your job and
We'll
moderate
limit the answers to
it.
about 5 minutes, about how many minutes?
We're the campus police.
Yesterday, we did not interrupt you.
You did not interrupt. You came into every person's conversation. You were in our faces all day long. And I'm going to see your faces all day long.
If anyone has a question they would like answered, I would love to be able to answer.
So,
All right, so raise your hand if you have a question.
Okay,
We're gonna get to him. I want to just finish the last note with what I'm saying to you, and then we'll get to
I
your
think
question.
we should move on because there appears to be a.
Fine.
Does that
I'm
answer
sorry,
your
I'm sorry we
question,
didn't get to finish your question.
All right, so you had a question,
Please.
sir.
I don't have a specific question. I have a bunch of remarks that I would like to share.
So we're taking questions at the moment because remarks, you can share them at any other event, but this is a Q&A.
Okay,
It's his turn.
If It's a Q&A.
Are you giving out questions in the
If
link?
nobody else has a question, you can share it.
If you have a question, if you do not have a question, you can wait till after the event is over to leave your
We will
remarks.
gladly speak to anyone.
Okay,
who
I will
wants to
put it
speak.
in a question form.
Okay.
Would that be
Okay.
possible?
Please.
So, I've lived, but there has to be some intro to the question.
All right.
Would that be possible?
Same time
All
with
right.
questions.
Okay, so I grew up in Gaza, and perhaps this is maybe the first time for some of you to meet Palestinians from Gaza or to hear a voice like mine from there. I grew up there, and it really like hurts my feelings, because everybody is talking about feelings here, to have most of the pro-Israel people on campus, whenever they want to have an easy answer to a question that pertains to the situation back there, that they always jump to demonize Gaza, to always portray Gaza as this place that has inherent hate towards Jews or towards... I grew up in Gaza. Gaza is a place that is a product of violence, political violence. That is a place that was created in 1948, what we call today the Gaza Strip. It's a place where 70% of its population are refugees. I grew up there, and I experienced living next to a settlement. I knew what the nights of living next to a settlement mean, when bulldozers go out at night and destroy farms and groves and shoot and traumatize children. I know what it is to be deprived of your right to travel freely. I understand what it means to suffer. I, as an academic, today, you all came from Israel, and you all traveled easily, you all went to the airport, you all went to get your visas without no trouble at all. Okay? When I got into a PhD program, I am the academic from Gaza who never carried a gun, who never was part of any political party that your state considers illegitimate or whatnot. When I applied to an academic program, an esteemed academic program at New York University in history, to study the history of this part of the world, it took me months until I got a chance to get a 7-hour-long permit to go to Jerusalem, to the consulate, to the American consulate, to have a 10-minute-long interview just to have my visa processed.
So what is your question?
If you claim to be progressives, if you claim to care about human rights, why are you here standing in defense of an institution that is even criticized in Israel by leftists? The word Smolani today in Israel has become a curse, has become a derogatory term to call out people for taking sometimes a decent moral stance that doesn't necessarily agrees with everything that Palestinians want. Why are you standing in this unconditional defense of the Benjamin Netanyahu government? Why are you refusing to admit that there is occupation, that to stand against that occupation, to oppose that government, and to say no?
So
What's wrong? What's wrong with people being pro-Palestine? Is that the problem?
Members of the Knesset says that they pro-Palestine has nobody limit them to say it. And you are victim, but victim for the Hamas, to organizations that controlling in Gaza.
Wait.
You're victim for the Hamas.
This was the answer.
You are victim for the Hamas.
This is your leader. Israel was created in 1948 as self-government.
You are victim for the Hamas. Hamas doing the old problems.
I understand this is a very emotional issue for many of you, but to keep the form of the Q&A, to keep this to a discussion that we can all learn from, we need to try and let people speak, even if we disagree with them, all right? And again, I understand the passion, but we can't get anywhere.
This
if we're
isn't
going to
passion,
keep
this
on
is
yelling.
people's lives.
this is
People are responsible for it. You tell me how to be quiet. You tell me how to be quiet.
That we are here, and no, we are not sponsored, as he said, by Netanyahu time with our own opinions, and nothing we say is the government facts. We're saying we're here because we want to have a dialogue, because we think this is the best way to progress and to move on. We really, really want questions that we can answer so that you can see things from our side. This is the way you humanize only what you hear about in the news. Yes.
So then do you
If I
agree with
can-
the settlements in the West Bank?
Wait, but I wanted to finish.
Do you mind if I just finish what he was, respond to what he was saying and then get to you?
You
Okay.
can answer the question.
So that he was the one who wanted to answer the question.
First
He's
of
the
all,
one
you're not
who-
running
Can you
for
ask,
the-
answer her question? I think that's more pressing. Since she's in the room,
Got it.
she wants to
Okay, you're
answer.
not, you're not.
I'm just asking, since she's in the room, I'm asking her a question.
You're not
If
either.
she's in the room, she's the one who wants to answer her.
Everyone,
He didn't want to answer.
everyone,
Guys,
please.
if you want to come here to just say things and just shout at us, really, by all means, later.
Like you guys came to our wall to say things.
Did we shout?
Stay cool.
هاي مش تحررها، هاي مش تحررها يا زلمه، هاي بتحررهاش هاي. هذا الشطر فيه حكي وتزقيق، فاهم؟ ما يحررهاش. يلا انت مع السلامه باي.
Wait, all right. So the next person who talks out of turn will be asked to leave, no matter from what side you are or what you're saying, support or against. All right?
I wanna begin by answering her question, because as we said, we're gonna take question by
You
question.
did ask the question. Do you want to?
Do you agree with the settlements in the West Bank?
Okay, so I want to start by answering that question by making sure that everyone in the room knows that settlements are a term that only apply after 1967, because there was no such thing beforehand. And so to begin there, are settlements the barrier to peace? Is that your question? Do I agree with settlements? So if we're talking about them in manners of, is that the barrier to peace? Without giving my own political opinion, I would say.
Yes, for your opinion.
Okay, good. I would say that if that were the barrier to peace, then there would have been no violence prior to 1967, which was not the situation. So if that was the only barrier to peace, then I don't know how we explain history. That's my answer to you.
If I can answer that, twice Israel has already removed settlements for peace. One was from the Sinai Desert in Egypt. We removed the settlements, okay, and then we gave back the Sinai Desert to Egypt, and we got a peace deal, okay. We've proven that we were willing to take out settlements in order to get peace. In 2005, we pulled out 30,000 settlers out of Gaza, from next to him, okay. I don't know his name. Unfortunately, he left too early, okay.
So you're okay
And-
with using them?
No, wait, listen.
That's my question.
What do you mean okay with using them? I'm just trying to say that we proved then that we were willing to pull them out in 2005, and then understand that from there, we're okay with
They don't wanna, okay, I see what you're doing here. They ask a question, then in the middle, they just stand up and leave.
It's amazing. They just can't take the truth. They get up and leave.
Okay, I thought you said if someone starts hitting you would kick them out. They're sneaky, aren't you?
Well, they
It's our
have to.
event.
So, I mean,
No, it doesn't matter. And then when you speak, you're projecting towards us, not to them either.
If I can get everybody please to, you know, there is a forum here, there is a Q&A portion up here. We can just go get through the Q&A, the folks on the panel here can try to answer these questions, okay? So we can do that, that's something we can agree upon? Because what's happening here is that people are trying to answer, people are rejecting, I know that maybe folks won't agree with that, but I think we need to have this ability to go ahead and, is that something we can agree upon? Then,
Question, why do we have military on campus from the beginning?
Why do we have more?